realestate.com. You missed the best part of the show.
Are we being videotaped, Jack?
Oh,
I should have.
is that going to be on?
Maybe you might have to go to thinkingrealestate.com to see.
Hear all those bleep outs.
Oh,
Oh, goodness sake.
Good morning, Laura. Laura
Good.
Dwyer Schlecki, Mark Meyer.
good morning.
Good morning. Realestate.com.
Here we are, the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend. Yay.
Let me put your mic on.
Oh, so they couldn't hear me?
No.
Thursday before Memorial Day
cut
weekend. Yay! And it's 86 degrees. Is that what it's going to be today? That sounds like boating weather to me.
I agree.
So when did you guys give away that pontoon yet?
Yeah. Last week.
Who won?
You would ask me that. Yeah.
Somebody.
I forgot his name.
It's the use of the pontoon, right?
For a
One
year.
year lease.
Yeah.
It's a nice pontoon because it's the same one I just bought last year, 2 years ago,
That
I
is
think.
really
So
nice.
yeah.
I
So
think it's lease, Mark, lease to buy.
Oh, is it? There you go.
can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Sure.
Pontooning?
I
I'm
don't
sure
think-
that once
You
they
can do
get
it in
used
real-
to it, I'm
in
sure
real
once they
estate.
get used to it, they'll buy it.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't think
I
Mr.
think
Krupa
that's
would
what he's
mind if you
talking
bought
about.
it.
Yeah. Well, pontoon boats are nice. What I want is a lift that has a cover, so I don't have to put the cover over the pontoon boat because that's a pain, and you don't want bird stuff and all over your pontoon.
Yeah.
What's that look for? You want to see his look? You're going to have to
Puzzle.
go to thinkingrealestate.com.
Oh boy, and how would they get a hold of us here?
787-3397.
If anybody has any questions,
Or they could email you, couldn't they?
they could. Mark at thinkingrealestate.com, and I have my trusty computer.
I feel like the Today Show where we just in sync, you know, where I say something and then you say something and it just
Like
comes
Regis
together.
and Kelly.
Right.
Hey, we forgot your song.
Because you're so wrapped up in those Tiger games that are coming up. Hey, I wonder if there's a Tiger game that starts at 9, does that mean we become irrelevant, our show, on a Thursday?
Do Tiger games start at 9?
They don't play here.
No. Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah, they're
we're
not. They're not on this station.
Okay. You didn't listen to the radio. Oh, that's right. You were here trying to get your seat.
Exactly. Exactly. So what's
Okay.
new? What's
Well,
happening? What's
the-
going on? What's up?
It's important people know that the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007, that was...
You know this is 2012, right?
I understand that, but this is important news.
Okay.
That expires December 31st, 2012. Do you know why that's important that people know that?
Tell me. Talk to me.
There's 11.1 million borrowers that are underwater. So if you're going to get your house on the market, get it sold as a short sale, then you want to do it now because the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007 relieves you from having to pay any income tax on the difference that's forgiven. So if you're vacillating or you're going to wait for the bank to foreclose on you and everything's going to happen after the 31st of December of this year, you're making a big mistake. Because they'll be able to tax you.
Wow. Do you think it'll
Unless
get
they
extended?
Well, it's an election year, so I don't know. And this was a Bush. I think this was
Yes,
put
it
in by
was.
Bush. So whether Obama wants to make the Republicans happy or whether he wants to,
Well, I think it would make everybody happy.
well,
But if it's attached to any other legislation, it probably will have difficulty.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't risk it. I'd get my house on the market, and if that's your solution to that problem, because you're held liable under a foreclosure also. So
And for a buyer, that means that they should be out there looking right now.
absolutely,
Do you know what 30-year fixed mortgage rates are right now?
they're under 4, aren't they?
3.81.
Wow.
For a 15-year, 3.12.
That's unbelievable. And I don't have my calculator. It's in my purse. But I bet the mortgage payment difference is only a little bit higher on that 15-year one for the really low rate.
Probably.
That's the rate. That's the way I'd go.
I can figure it out if I felt like it. Anything new in the city before we get started on other things?
Budget time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, what was that? Like, we had that rehab house story
Oh,
Oh, you
boy.
did? You had that?
Yeah.
Um,
Did you vote to rehab?
She couldn't vote.
well, the rehab, there were two different issues on the agenda. One were two property owners had applied for a grant or a loan that the city has, and I'm not quite sure how that gets structured, to rehab their homes, and they have to go through the whole process.
Right.
Those two were approved, and I could vote for those. There was no conflict of interest. The other two were two homes the city's purchasing, and Mark is the agent that represents them, and so I had to.
Which I have been doing since 2010.
Long
18
before-
months prior to you even running for city
and
council.
in 18 months before I even thought about running for city council. And so the big hoop to do
Yeah.
is that, they think it's some people perceive that I have some kind of interest in that, and I don't. I received an email that kind of claimed that I was directing them to buy a house that's a block away because it's going to affect the value of my property. Well, that person needs to
Get a
have
grip.
have a realtor explain to him the difference between the east side of West Avenue and the west side of West Avenue.
Uh-huh.
And the value. I don't know about you, but when I go to price a house, that's
I totally agree.
And-
West
Why,
Ave is the cutoff, and Michigan Ave is the cutoff.
right, and there's other cutoffs.
If I'm figuring out the price of a house on South Thompson, I do not go to North Thompson.
That's
If
exactly.
I'm
Nor do
figuring
you
out a
go
house
to the
on
east,
Grinnell Street, I don't go to 6th Street.
and you don't, because you don't go over to the west side of West Avenue if you're
East
on
side.
the.
Oh, actually,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
the
okay.
east side of West Avenue if you're looking at a neighborhood on the west side.
Why
And
why is the city even contemplating
They have federal funds,
But-
HUD funds,
to buy houses?
to buy
Yeah.
houses.
And
so
rehab
these-
them.
Yes, and then they will resell them as owner-occupied homes
Yeah, and this is federal money. It is
So
not
the city
coming.
would own the property
for a short time, yes,
until they sold
until they sold it.
All right.
Right, and this is federal money. It
So it's
isn't
nothing
coming out of the
nothing out of the city.
nothing out of the city. We would be fools to not take advantage of that money.
Because it's going to go somewhere.
It's going to go somewhere, and if the city doesn't rehabilitate some properties with it, and
So-
and find
Well,
if there's
the other part of that too is that it's creating jobs, construction jobs in the city of Jackson.
Right.
So we were fools then not to pass that.
right.
She won't say that, but I will.
Well,
But I also have a
She just
vested,
did.
I have an interest.
No,
in
I
this.
did. I think if any of the other council members were concerned about a conflict that I may have, they ought to ask me about it, or they ought to discuss in front of the public. I have no problem with, and I think you probably know that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with people addressing me directly with any issues they may have.
And the truth is that
But don't sneak around.
But with regard to you and I doing business together, we really don't. Our jobs are independent of one another, and I've been doing this 20 years, and Laura's been doing it 30 years, and we both know what we're doing. And the only time we run things past each other is if there's a problem that we want to bounce off our friend.
Right.
No different than me calling my friend Deanne Gumbert or my friend Rick Reardon or anybody else and
Right.
asking them questions.
Right. And
And
believe
our
me,
income, when our expenses are really shared expenses, the company,
some of them.
well, the majority of them.
Well, no, I pay for my own signs, and I may buy more signs in
Well, I
you or
agree.
whatever.
Yes, I agree.
Right. My own marketing comes out of my pocket, so on and so
But
forth.
phones, office phones,
Right.
electricity, blah, blah,
Right,
blah,
right. But the money that Mark makes
is not your money.
is not my money, and the money I make is not his.
So anyway, that
So
was
anyhow,
that. Was
so-
that.
But I think the city. First of all, people ought to know that there's money out there to rehab homes,
Owner-occupied.
owner-occupied homes. You have to have an income level. But that income level, I think, is kind of high, which is 50,000. I think.
Yeah, it was 120%, and I don't know about the rehab funds. We'll have to ask that and figure it
Right.
out.
Well, you can call the community department.
so is that
Community
dead?
development department.
No, I think it's coming back around.
It will come back around.
Yeah, but we only have. I think we only have till the end of June
To close.
to target. I don't know if it's close or to target
close.
where that money's going.
I think it's to close
Oh, and so that has to be decided
soon.
soon.
So you would say we are foolish not to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. And if they want to pick other houses, I don't care where the houses are.
Well, the
as long
debate-
as it's a smart investment. I mean, I don't want them to buy a house that's going to cost them $300,000 to rehab it, and they're only going to resell it for $20,000. That's not smart. And in fact, the homes program that they're using the funds from establishes a guideline that the city has to go, the municipality has to go through, and the municipality has to give them a plan, of which we have done. So,
Right.
Okay.
aren't you glad you asked that question?
Sure.
I asked it.
Oh, aren't you glad you asked that
Yes,
question?
that cleared it up for me.
Any other questions on that stuff?
I just wondered why the city would get into home
It's a
All
temporary.
municipalities do
home
that.
ownership.
Yeah, and the rationale behind it is to help stabilize a neighborhood.
Neighborhood, yeah.
Right, or rehabilitate a neighborhood. And we certainly are at the point, and
Well,
have been at the point
especially
where we
when
need that.
52% of the homes in the city of Jackson are non-owner occupied.
Right, but I was talking to one of my friends, and the gentleman who redoes hardwood floors for me, he just bought a duplex on 2nd Street. I think he bought it in a tax sale, and he's turning it back, and he's making it his primary residence. I mean, he's taking it from a duplex to a single family, which I think is really cool. And I sold one on 3rd Street that used to be a rental and was foreclosed on, and that's owner occupied now. So I think you're seeing people coming back into the owner occupied housing.
Did you say you were
City.
taking calls
Sure.
today?
Yeah.
You sure?
Well, sure.
Good
You
morning.
can always cut them off if it's bad, right?
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jim Osborne.
Jim Osborne, ladies and gentlemen.
I just wanted to throw out a couple things. I was listening to you earlier on the short sales.
Yeah.
If your house is underwater, you don't want to move. The Hard 2 program that was effective in April, middle of April, allows up to 150% of the value to refinance and lower your interest rate if your loan is owed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. In June 11th, there's a new program that's coming out for people that have FHAs where they can do an FHA streamline, and the FHA premium is effective on the loan that it took out. And these loans are all ultimately were purchased by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or closed before June of 2009.
So can I ask you a question, Jim? Are the mortgages, the amounts being adjusted or just the interest rates?
The interest rates. You can throw in closing costs. There's an actual factor that you can throw in, and then every one that I've done so far is obviously less than what you are allowed to do. The only real issue that they have on the FHA that are going to take effect in June is that you can't subtract the current escrow from the payoff. You have to wait 3 to 4 weeks to get it back from your lender. Up until May 1st, you can subtract the escrow balance and will pay off. So it's kind of like a wash. You can't do that anymore.
So I can refinance 150% of the value of my house, right?
Yeah. So
So what if I owe more than 150% of my value?
Then you're not going to refinance it.
well, if the loan is with, if the loan is up to vote, the Hard 2, and you go back to your original lender, you can refinance with no more.
Okay, well,
You could owe $200,000 on your house.
mhm.
If the appraisal came back at $100,000, you could
I think we lost
Thanks.
him. Thank you. Well,
My
we'll
concern
have to
about
look
that,
into
I think those are, that was part of what we talked about a couple weeks ago with
Mm-hmm.
this new stuff, this new mortgage information. But my concern about that is that it doesn't really, it might lower the payments and somebody's going to get a better interest rate, and so for those people who want to stay in their homes, this is a good thing.
Right.
But it doesn't address the people that are upside down in their mortgages.
Well, that's what that's trying to do. However, I can think of like over in the northeast quarter of the city, I think that part of the city got hit the hardest actually, where people were in the low 100s buying houses, and now those are worth what, 30 and 40,000. Orange Street, that area.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to owe more than 150%.
That was Jim Osborne, by the way.
At
Right,
Fifth Third
Fifth
Bank.
Third Bank.
So interesting. I just hope it's not complicated. That's what turns people off, is these government programs trying to help people out, and then it becomes so complicated you can't do anything about it. Now, I know as of June 15th, and Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, the short sale process is supposed to be streamlined for the Fannie and Freddie Macs of the world properties.
How are they going to do that?
They apparently have made a commitment to have
Who?
short sales go through Fannie Mae. Has made a commitment to make short sales go through within 30 to 60 days.
Mark, are you taking calls?
Sure.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, this is Jim Osborne again.
Jim Osborne is back.
The process actually is easier. My average time for our home loans, the ones that we have in-house, about 17 days from have to close.
Huh.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of those cases, we don't have to have an appraisal done.
Because you already know, well,
Then how are you going to know whether it's 150% or less of the value?
Because the program actually tells us what value we can use to determine the loan. It's called HVE, Home Value Estimate.
they probably use Trulia.
We don't control that. It's controlled by the secondary market. But if we get a loan that's eligible for the program, if it doesn't give us a value, then we have to order an appraisal, and then that's the value that we use. But if, like I said, if the loan is with your original lender and they run it and get the HVE value, there's no appraisal required, and then going in. And then there's another system where the customer will tell you what they think their house is worth. You put it into the system, you run an automated underwriting program, and it comes back and it tells you what the value you can use for that loan.
Right. Well, let's, because we're running out of time here, that's called the HUD-2 program, is that what you said?
HARP, H-A-R-P.
Harp.
Oh, HARP program,
Which has
okay.
been around.
What's your
So-
phone number, Jim, if somebody needs more information?
782-5383.
782-5383. Jim Osborne, Fifth Third Bank.
I have a city question for you.
Okay.
We have a listener that asked about wouldn't it be a good idea to have some sort of information sheet letting the client know what the rules are for city dwelling regarding garbage, services, burning, etc. My guess is that's on the city website.
I think that's an excellent question, and
That's why she asked.
That's right, and they're in the process of revising the city website so it's user friendly, and so I am going to have Mark forward that email to me, and I will put that suggestion in front of that. And as realtors, I think we ought to come up with a sheet that we hand to our clients. We give them phone numbers and contact information, but I like that idea. Thank you.
It just got sent. Thanks, Linda.
So, all right. I've got a new listing.
I have to say one thing about Jim's comments, because I know we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
The last time I had a customer tell me what they thought their house was worth, please. Not that I'm being
right.
negative about it, but come on.
Okay, so I have a really cool new listing, 1304 Badgley, not far from here.
Okay.
It's really the corner of Stonewall Road and Badgley, so the Grand River runs through it.
A river runs through it?
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Sweet.
It sits on, gosh, I think it's
2 acres.
yeah, quite a nice lot. And it's a contemporary home, 4 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, a total of almost 2,500 finished square feet, 2 fireplaces. The kitchen is dated, but it's got some really cool features, like there's a table that pops up and the drawers slide all the way through, and
Does it have a stove and refrigerator?
it does, but they're original. Well, the refrigerator's not original, but it's just really cool.
I've been in that house.
Yeah,
Cool.
it is very cool. And the rooms are good sizes, and it's got an enclosed porch and a deck. And in fact, I think I'm going to have an open house and have margaritas sitting out on that deck.
There you go.
And then price reduction 485 Skyline. That's down to 102. 885. That's a great house. They're very motivated. Take a look at that. Hanover Horton Schools, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1568 square feet. Someone needs to buy that because that's a great house, and she's motivated, very motivated.